Right now, on your Windows PC, there is a feature that is supposed to protect everything on your hard drive. Your photos, your documents, your passwords, your entire digital life. It's called Bitlocker, and Microsoft has been telling you for years that it encrypts your drive so nobody can access it without your key. That story just fell apart. In January 2026, Microsoft confirmed in their own words that they handed the FBI the encryption keys to 3 people's laptops. Not because they were hacked, not because there was a security breach. They just gave them over because they could, and because they had the keys the entire time. And if you set up Windows 11 with a Microsoft account, which most of you did, so do you. Let me explain what Bitlocker actually is, because understanding this is what makes what Microsoft did so significant. When Bitlocker is turned on, it scrambles everything on your hard drive using encryption. Without the right key, that data is completely unreadable. Even if someone physically removed your hard drive and put it in another computer, they would see nothing, just noise. It's genuinely strong protection. The encryption itself isn't the problem. The problem is what happens to your key. When you set up a new Windows PC and sign in with a Microsoft account, Windows automatically backs your Bitlocker recovery key up to Microsoft servers. Not locally, not on a USB drive, on Microsoft servers. This is the default. It happens without a prompt. Most people have absolutely no idea it occurred. Microsoft frames this as a convenience feature. If you forget your password or your PC gets locked, you can go to your Microsoft account and get your key back. That sounds reasonable on the surface, but here's what that actually means. Microsoft holds a copy of the key to your encrypted drive, and when Microsoft holds your key, they can give it to anyone with a valid court order. That's not speculation. That's exactly what just happened. In early 2025, the FBI was investigating an alleged fraud case connected to COVID-19 unemployment funds in Guam. They seized 3 laptops. Those laptops were protected with Bitlocker. Under normal circumstances, that encryption would have stopped the investigation cold. Without the key, the drives are unreadable. But these laptops were running Windows 11, and the users had signed in with Microsoft accounts. So Windows had automatically uploaded the Bitlocker recovery keys to Microsoft's cloud during setup. The FBI served Microsoft with a search warrant. Microsoft complied. They handed over the recovery keys. The FBI unlocked all 3 drives and accessed everything on them. When Forbes asked Microsoft about this, spokesperson Charles Chamberlain confirmed it. He said, Microsoft receives roughly 20 requests like this every year from law enforcement. He said they comply with valid legal orders. And he noted that in many cases they can't help because the user stored their key locally, but when the key is in the cloud, they absolutely can. 20 requests a year. That's the number they're admitting to publicly. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. These were fraud cases. Court orders are legal. This is the system working as intended. And that's a fair point. But it misses the deeper issue. You were told your drive was encrypted. You were given every reason to believe that encryption meant your data was yours, and yours alone. The entire premise of encryption is that without your key, nobody gets in. Not hackers, not companies, not governments. But Microsoft made an architectural choice. They decided that by default, they would hold a copy of your key. And when they hold your key, the encryption protecting your data is only as strong as Microsoft's willingness to say no to whoever is asking for it. Compare that to Apple. When you use File Vault on a Mac, Apple does not hold your key. Even if the FBI serves Apple with a warrant, Apple cannot comply. Not because they're breaking the law, but because they designed the system so they genuinely don't have access. Same with Google's client-side encryption. These companies still follow the law. They just built systems where they can't be the weak link. Microsoft chose differently. Cryptography professor Matthew Green from Johns Hopkins put it plainly. He said this is private data on a private computer, and Microsoft made the architectural choice to hold access to it. He said they absolutely should be treating it as something that belongs to the user. That's not a fringe take. That's one of the most respected voices in cryptography, and he's saying Microsoft's default setup undermines the whole point of encryption. And this goes bigger than just the FBI. Microsoft operates in over 190 countries. Every country has its own laws, its own courts, its own government agencies that can issue warrants and legal orders. When your Bitlocker key is stored on Microsoft servers, you're not just subject to the US legal system, you're potentially subject to any legal jurisdiction where Microsoft has a presence. Security researchers have flagged that this includes countries with significantly different standards around human rights and privacy. If your key is in the cloud and a government in another country where Microsoft operates serves them with a legal order, the company faces the same pressure. Microsoft is also not required to tell you when your data has been requested or handed over. In many cases, warrants come with non-disclosure orders. You may never know it happened. So let's fix this. Right now on your machine, first, check if your key is stored with Microsoft. Press the Windows key, type Bitlocker, and open Manage Bitlocker. If you see backed up to your Microsoft account, your key is on their servers. To remove it, you need to save it locally first. Click Back up your recovery key and choose either a USB drive or a printed copy, something only you control. Write down the key ID and the key itself and store it somewhere safe. Once you've saved it locally, go to your Microsoft account at account.microsoft.com, navigate to Devices, find your device, and delete the recovery key stored there. Now Microsoft no longer has a copy. If you want to go a step further, look into Vericrypt. It's free, open source, and it encrypts your drive using keys that only exist on your machine. There is no cloud backup option. There is no copy on a server somewhere. There is nothing for anyone to hand over because it was never designed to work that way. Bitlocker's encryption is technically strong. That was never the issue. The issue is that Microsoft built a system where they hold a spare key to your front door, told almost nobody, and then handed it out when asked. Check your machine today. Save your key locally. Delete it from Microsoft's servers. Because encrypted should mean encrypted, not encrypted, unless someone asks nicely with a court order. If this was useful, share it with someone who uses Windows. Most people have no idea this is how their PC is set up right now. I'll see you in the next one.